cord to the cloud. All right, Zoe, Happy New Year. Loving all the red there. We got the Raiders garb on, looking good. I fell asleep early.
Playoff bound, baby. Playoff
I
bound.
fell asleep early. They won last night?
Nuts.
Yep. We went into overtime.
Oh, I'm glad I went to bed.
I'm gonna put you guys on pause for a second.
All good. All right, guys, let me share with you I'm going to tell you what I'm going to talk about, Zoe, with you today. Then I'll explain to you the topic. So, Zoe,
I am eating.
in our environment right now.
Okay, so
Hold on. Nazar, are you going to mute that? I'll mute it. There we go. So in our world right now, Zoe, your buyers, your sellers, do you think they're maybe a little stressed because the inventory is low and they're trying to find a house? Yes. Your clients, do you think maybe they got a little nervousness about interest rates going up because they need to use a mortgage? Yes. Are your clients a little bit uncertain about this whole COVID thing that's going on? Yes. Are many people in our country a little concerned about the politics in this country? Yes. Do you guys know what's going to happen and is happening now to the price of lumber? Yeah, lumber is going up, if you guys don't know, through the roof. To build the average new home in the US, it will cost you a minimum of $20,000 more moving forward. So the reason I bring this up to everyone on the call today is the hardest thing you're going to have to do with your clients in the first half of this year is build trust with them. They don't trust anything. They don't know what to believe, the CDC, right? So what I'm going to teach you guys today, you're going to need a pen and paper handy, as we are going to go over 25 ways that I use to build trust with people. I use these techniques, Nazar, all the time. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how funny it is because I'm so used to using these, Nazar. Since I moved to Las Vegas, Nazar, I don't know if you know, Nazar, I don't drive. I always have someone drive me somewhere. So a lot of times I'm in an Uber. Since I've been in Vegas just a few months, I've had many Uber drivers, Nazar, that want to hang out with me after the Uber ride. Hey, you want to grab a drink? You want to go hang out? Why? Because I use these techniques every time I meet another human. So we're going to go around the room today, and I'm going to ask you first what techniques you're using, and then I'm going to give you all the ones that you guys don't figure out on your own. Rochelle, who's in the room with you there? I can't see with the mask and just who do we got there? Can you give me one of you? I can't see you too well, but give me a technique that you use that would build trust with your client. What would cause your client, if you're new on the call, if you're new to sales, let me explain something. When you first get a lead or a client, you first have to get to know each other, like each other, and then hopefully the client will trust you. If you don't get them to this level of trust, like I'm talking about today, you will not have a sale most of the time. So we have to very quickly, in a short window, get to know them, they like us, and they trust us is the premise of today's call. If you use, and then these techniques that we're gonna go over today, you don't use one or two, you're gonna stack these. When you run an appointment, when I speak to someone, I use most of these most of the time. All right, go ahead. What's a technique that you guys are using up there on Rochelle's computer that builds trust with another human?
anything, whatever you think.
Come closer or say a little bit louder.
I haven't spoken yet.
They're trying to think.
Yeah.
Sincerity.
I will help you then. I'll give you the first one on my list if you don't have one, just to keep the call moving.
Okay.
So number one on my list is called personality styles. What does that mean? As soon as I meet someone, I'm trying to determine if they are a driver, an expressive, an amiable, or an analytic, for two good reasons. Number one is I'm going to calibrate my personality, first of all, right? Amiables, if you don't know, right, are more kind, softer spoken, more concerned about security and safety. So when I meet them, I'm like, hey, Rochelle, how are you? How are you feeling? When I get my analytic person, my lead, and I notice they're an analytic, I'm using words like data, reports, numbers, statistics, right? I'm keeping it more analytic, the conversation. If I have an expressive, I want to know what they're doing for fun this weekend, who they're hanging out with, what they did last weekend. I'm keeping it very lively, focused on activities and people. My drivers, I'm short and direct with. Number 2 is because of colors, Crystal. Crystal, do you know what color I wear to every first appointment? Hit the mute button.
Black?
No, close. Navy blue.
Oh, okay.
I wear navy blue to every first appointment. Why? This color, Crystal, develops trust at the subconscious level better than any other color in the spectrum. This is why most of the police officers, firefighters, and McDonald's workers in the US wear navy blue, if you didn't know. They understand what I understand, build trust through color. Number 2, Crystal, once I meet you for the first time, I'm going to wear different colors on our second appointment. If you're a driver, you're going to find I'm going to wear red on our second appointment somehow, some way. If you are an expressive, I will wear bright colors on our second appointment because I know you will be as well. Our third one of my amiables, I'm wearing pastel colors. And my analytics, I will wear neutrals or earth tones on my second appointment. Why, Crystal? Because when they show up, I'm going to tell you, we're going to be looking very similar. Very similar. Matter of fact, I took a picture with 2 of my other clients, Crystal, on Friday night. We're at a dinner with Matt Farnham and Kyle Whistle. And I noticed in the picture, we're all drivers and we're all wearing black. No coincidence. Right after that party, Crystal, I had another event with another client, it's Kerry White. And my wife knows she's a high expressive. So she knew she would be dressed in some like flashy kind of outfit. My wife wound up showing up in the same exact outfit, same exact. How do you think Kerry greeted my wife when she saw she had the same boots on, very similar look? Oh my God, I love your outfit. You look gorgeous, right? Instant rapport is built when you look similar. So that's number 1, personality styles. I will adapt my communication with you, and I will adapt the colors I wear based on personality type. All right, Crystal, you want to give me a technique?
Listening. and-
Yes, very good. So let me give you a whole bunch of steps here. Write this stuff down, Crystal. So step 1 to good listening, believe it or not, is not the listening part. It's how you start your conversation, Crystal. How about we start most of our conversations with an open-ended question about the consumer? Crystal, you think your client likes you better when you talk more or listen more?
Listen.
Right. So asking open-ended question, right, is the way to first get them to like you. Number 2, Crystal, this could work against you if you make this mistake. And trust me, from a coach who's listened to thousands of recorded calls at this point, when they're talking, what should you be doing, Crystal?
Listening.
Should you interrupt them? No, I will tell you, most of you do. You think you're so smart, or you know the answer, you can finish the sentence, or you know what they're about to say. So good active listening, Crystal, has no sound coming out of your mouth, whether it's in person or on the phone. It's called active listening, right? You're paying attention. If you're in person, you're nodding your head, you're smiling. Crystal, here's what I've learned. If you utter even one word like, oh yeah, I understand. As soon as you say that, they usually stop talking. Now, no more discovery. So I ask an open-ended question, Crystal. And then next question. Are you listening, Crystal, to understand? Or are you listening to respond?
Understand.
Yes. Do you know what most agents do incorrectly? They listen to respond. You know how I know this? Because they're not using the next technique. What do you think I do to prove to you, Crystal, I'm listening to understand versus listening to respond? Because I use a technique as soon as you're done talking, almost every time. You know what that technique is? I couldn't hear.
Repeat back what they said.
Yeah, so write down, everybody, reflective listening. So if Crystal was, say, a buyer client of mine, Crystal, and I said, hey, Crystal, hey, tell me a little more about your situation. The more I know about you, the better I can help you. And Crystal says, Mike, me and my family are moving to Las Vegas, and we needed 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and we don't want to do too much work in the house, you know? I was like, okay. So Crystal, if I'm hearing you correctly, you need 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and when it all said and done, a little cosmetic work is okay, but no big projects, correct? And boom, I will build rapport with you instantly. The reason is most of us are terrible listeners because our ears process information at 200 words per minute and our mouths speak at 100. So most of the time you're bored. Even on today's call, you guys will get bored with me. So there's your series, Crystal. You want to build trust? Ask a great question, listen without interrupting, listen to understand, as you say, and then reflective listen. You know what I do next, Crystal? After I reflective listen, I ask another question, another open-ended question. If I was listening to you on a recorded call, Crystal, like a perfect call, that's what I should hear. Open-ended question, reflective listen, the answer, ask another question, reflective answer, the listen. That's a perfect sales call. So consider that. Let me go through the list here because I see I'm going a little bit deep on the explanations. I want to make sure I get these all in. Next one on my list is being a market expert. Crystal, you're going to be my role play partner today. So, Crystal, if I'm on an appointment with you, right, as a buyer, say, and you, while you're showing me this house, I say, Crystal, what could you tell me about the house around the corner that came to the market yesterday? And you don't know about that house? Guess what you just did? You just lost a client. So I hope everyone on this call understands that your buyers, Crystal, are on whatever site they go to multiple times every day. And in the neighborhood or the area they're looking in, they know it better than anyone because they only have to look at this area. You've got a much bigger territory. Your buyer might buy here. You have to check the hot sheet, every day to find out what came on, what came off, what went under contract. You have to be a market expert in today's world. Next one, mirror and matching develops trust very well, guys. Mirror and matching. There's 2 ways, Crystal, to mirror and match. One way is the sound of your voice. I'm going to give you 6 things to consider there in a second. The other is in person, Crystal. Whenever I at a buyer consultation, Crystal, or if I'm on a listing presentation, I always ask them to do me a favor. So write that down because when you ask your client to do you a favor and they do, they automatically will like you more subconsciously because their brain tells them, Crystal, you only do favors for people you like. Crystal, do you do favors for people you don't like? No, not usually, right? So that's another technique. Do ask your client to do you a favor, builds trust on a subconscious level. The favor I always ask, Crystal, hey, would you mind getting me a glass of water? I've been speaking all day. My voice is a little bit sore. Why do I ask for this water, Crystal? Any idea?
No.
Because when you sit across from me on my listing presentation, I'm going to mirror and match your body language, right? If you're sitting there with your arms crossed, I cross my arms. If you happen to be leaning in, listening to me a little more closely, I'm going to lean in. When I'm about to ask you to move forward with me, Crystal, and set the appointment or sign the paperwork, whatever it might be, I'm going to take a glass of my water here and take a drink. And know what you're going to do as the consumer? Yes. But you're only going to do that, Crystal, if we're on the same page, if you believe what I'm telling you, if you're ready to move forward with me. If I pick up this glass and you don't, guess what? You are not ready. You're going to tell me no, most likely now. So I don't ask you for the signature. I keep on presenting, right? I keep on adding more value, building more rapport, and then I try again later on, 5 or 10 minutes later. So that's a good one right there. Write these down. These are the 6 things on how you mirror and match someone's voice. There's 6 different ways you can do it, Crystal. Number 1 is going to be the speed. If they speak more quickly, you have to speak more quickly. If they speak more slowly, you have to speak more slowly. Number 2, after speed is tone. If they speak deeply, you speak deeply. If they're more of a high tone, you raise yours a little bit. 3rd is volume. I have a client on Tuesday morning, Crystal, at 5:30. I'm sure the guy's gonna have a heart attack sooner or later because he comes to my call at 5:30 every Tuesday morning, like, hey, Mike, how's it going? Like, he's yelling at me. That's the way the guy talks, right? But I have to what then at 5:30 on Tuesday mornings? I'm doing great, Sean. How are you? Right? I've got to match the volume because if I don't step up to his volume, we will be incongruent. Next, word choice. Crystal, some of your clients may have a very long college history, right? MBAs and who knows, master's degrees, more academic language they'll know and use. You should use the same. Then you might have a blue collar worker, right? Maybe they never even went to a college, right? On there. Then you're going to use more simple words. So word choice is very important. Next, energy. So if the energy level of your client is flat and dull and you're like super high, you've got to tone it down. You'll intimidate the heck out of them, or vice versa. If you're more of a centered soul and you get a client who's more outgoing and energetic, you're going to have to step it up a notch to build trust and likability with them. And the last one, Crystal, is mindset. Right? If you're alive, excited, and full of energy, Crystal, and your client is stressed out of their mind, you're going to have a hard time communicating with them. So mindset. So consider all 6 of those things as far as mirror and matching someone's voice and sound on there. That's how you would do that much better. Next on my list, Crystal, is you have to find at least one connection with your client. And I'll give you some examples, Crystal. They have a dog and you have a dog. They like to do a certain activity or sport, and you happen to like the same activity or sport on there. You have to find at least one thing in common. As soon as you do that, you'll have a much easier time converting. Nothing in common, much higher to build trust, I'll tell you. Find one of those. A little cheat sheet is if you can't notice one instantly, Crystal, I will go to social and stalk you and kind of see what you're about, and I will bring that up on our next call on there. So find a connection. Number 7, you need to be brutally honest to build trust. Crystal, if the market's tough, the market's tough. Don't sugarcoat it. Right? If you think this house is not a great opportunity for them, don't try to get them to buy it. Tell them, you know what? I think we should keep looking. I think we can do better, right? Crystal, when a buyer says, hey, should I write an offer on this house? You know what I say? I'm not going to live there. You are. If you can see yourself living there, we should write an offer. If you can't see yourself living there, we should continue looking. What would you like to do? I'm always brutally honest, Crystal. It will serve you well. Next one, Crystal, how many times have I mentioned your name on this call so far?
100.
Yes, that's by design. So use your client's name often. Crystal, the only thing that a little pro tip here, make sure you're using it the exact way they like it used. I'll give you an example. I have 2 clients back-to-back calls. They spell their name, Crystal, the exact same way. One's a Casey and one's a Cassie. If I call Casey Cassie for 30 minutes, I will fall out of rapport. So make sure you get it right, and then you use it often, like I'm doing here with Crystal today. That's 102 times. Next one. Under promise and over deliver. I'm going to give you a scenario, Crystal. You and I both got leads today. And both of our leads wanted a bunch of information from us. So you said, no problem. I'm a great agent. I'll get you that stuff this afternoon. And another lead came in, right? You got busy. You kind of forgot about it. So you send it to the lead tomorrow morning. What I told my lead, Crystal, was, I've got a few things going on. Is it okay if I get you all the information by Wednesday? And the client says, that's fine. No problem. Crystal, here's the formula. Whenever I have to give any information or get something for one of my clients, I double the amount of time I know it's going to take, and I deliver it in half the amount of time. You know what that creates? They're excited. Oh my gosh. It's almost like when you order something on Amazon, Crystal, they tell you it's going to take 2 days and it shows up the same day. You are so excited. So what Crystal did is she overpromised in my example and under-delivered, because you told them today you got busy The emotion that's created right here is disappointment. You're falling out of rapport. You want to know the irony of the stories, Crystal? In both examples, when did the client get the information? On Tuesday. Your client was disappointed. My client was excited. So use that formula well. Next, the law of reciprocity. Crystal, do you know what that is?
I know what reciprocity means, but I don't know what you mean.
In
by
regards
that.
to what we're talking about here, it's very simple. If you give your client anything, they will feel obligated to work with you, especially if it's something they like. I'll give you 2 pro tips here, Crystal. Whenever you go to a listing appointment, for everybody, if you go on a listing appointment, Jenny, bring a bottle of champagne with you and say, hey, can you put this in the fridge? Because I can't wait to celebrate the sale of your home, because I know we're going to sell this house very quickly, Crystal, for a lot of money. If they take that bottle from you, Crystal, they will have a very hard time not giving you the listing that day. They will feel obligated to give you that listing. This will increase your conversion rate very quickly, very easily, guys. Another thing I'll do, Crystal, I don't tell them, but if I'm speaking to my client and I learn they like a certain kind of tea or coffee or beverage on the buy side, guess what I have waiting for them on the next time they come to my office or we go and show properties? That beverage. And I've invoked the law of reciprocity that way, giving my client something. Next, Crystal, after I meet you, after I just introduce myself and I greet you, the next thing I always do is I pay you a compliment. So I'm sure everyone on the call, if you see something outstanding, you compliment them on it, right? What I'm encouraging you guys here to do today is make sure, even if there's nothing obvious, you find anything. Crystal, last Thursday was a little out of the unusual days. I get compliments from time to time, but something, I don't know why. Last Thursday, I got one in the morning. I got another nice one in the afternoon from one of my clients, and a third one at the end of the day. I will tell you, no joke, I was feeling extra special that day. There was an extra skip in my step because I got 3 compliments in one day from clients. Same clients I coach all the time, but they kind of said, hey, things are a little extra better this week, or thank you for the great year last year on there. And it made me feel much, much better. I'm telling you, compliments definitely will get you liked much more quickly. Next on my list is you need to be 100% present. We live in a very distracted world, Crystal. Crystal, if I'm working with a buyer or a seller and I happen to have my phone around and it lights up, like I got the ringer off, right? But I see it light up and I'm talking to you. I look at it just for a second over there. What do you think of me?
You're not focused, or
What am I telling you indirectly? What's your brain thinking right now when I look at that phone when I was talking to you first? What's your brain tell you about that phone?
that's you're more important to you at that
Right, that's what I'm looking for. Exactly. I'm telling you, this thing may be more important than you, and I want to go check it to see on there. Do not let this ruin one of your relationships. It will. So 100% present. When you're talking or engaging a client, you will be 100% engaged with them. Next one on my list is I learned the people in our country, Crystal, that make a lot more money than most of us, they do something unique. What they do is they change your state. So when you look at actors and actresses, Crystal, when you look at some of the top bands, singers, musicians, when you look at Tony Robbins, Tom Ferry, Darren Hardy, motivational speakers, you know what they do? Is they can get you from feeling not motivated to motivated. They can get you from feeling uninspired to super inspired, right? They can get you from just feeling okay to wanting to dance in your kitchen because you heard your favorite song. So I took this same technique and I observed it on my team, Crystal. The #1 buyer's agent on my team for years, Crystal, was Jeffrey Perlman. His career before he worked with me is he spent 20 years working in one of the roughest prisons in the country called Rikers Island, if you guys have heard of that. So in working at Rikers Island, Crystal, How do you get the inmates to do what he needed them to do? Right? Not easy. He developed a sense of humor. He learned to have fun, even in prison, right? It's not a great situation, but when he learned to have fun with the clients, I mean, the inmates and change their state a little bit, right? Make them laugh, even though they were stuck in the cell for how long? So when he got into real estate, that was his go-to. So when you were stressed, you wanted to go look for a house, low inventory, multiple offers, he would have fun with you. Make your clients laugh a little bit. Make the experience fun and enjoyable. It doesn't have to be so technically correct all the time, right? If you can change their state, Crystal, and get them from feeling stressed to having a good time, you think they're going to like you a little bit? They're going to like you a lot. That's why all these guys make so much money. They're changing people's states. Crystal, know what I get a lot of my calls? Oh my gosh, after the call, I was just so inspired. I felt so much better, right? This is why I have a waiting list to get in my schedule. I can change people's states in 30 minutes. Next, I just did it to Crystal, actually. Talk in stories more often. People love hearing stories, Crystal. It makes your information easier to understand, easier to remember. And with that, I'll go back to what I just told you about Tony Robbins, Tom Ferry, and Darren Hardy. If you listen to them after today's call, guys, you'll notice they're telling you a story most of the time. That's their go-to because they know what I know. That develops trust. Next, Crystal, social proof. Are you sharing with your leads, your buyers and sellers, some social proof? If you don't know what social proof is, that could be reviews that you have individually or our team has. That could be how many sales we've closed here in the last year or two. That could be your track record of getting offers accepted in a multiple offer situation. Crystal, that could be how many buyers that started to work with you last year and you successfully helped them get to the closing table in a tough market. That's all social proof. With that, I'm going to give you a script I want you guys all to steal that Coach Mike has used on every appointment forever because it works. So Nazar, do we have any kind of map of sale marketing piece the agents could use on appointments that shows like where we plot all the sales on some kind of map or something or other? Yes.
We had it last year. I think, like, you know, we did with the 375 sales. We'll be doing that again.
Recreate it for them because I'd love them to bring this on a buyer or seller appointment. And here's the script, Crystal. Hey, Crystal, see all these 375 dots? Each one represents a family we're able to serve and help either buy or sell real estate in 2021. Crystal, I don't show you this map to impress you. I show you this map to impress upon you. There's nothing that's going to happen in your transaction that me or one of my team members hasn't handled dozens of times before. So what I'm able to do, Crystal, is take this humble brag to show them how good we are and turn it into a benefit to them. That is huge and works extremely, extremely well for buyers and sellers because they are faced with enormous uncertainty right now. So again, I'm providing more certainty in this kind of environment. I can build trust immensely, very quickly. Next on my list, Crystal, is recollection. What does that mean? Whenever I talk to someone, Crystal, I always will reference their dog that they talked about on the previous call, a kid's name, someplace they may have went to. When I remember that information, Crystal, they always light up. Like, oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, I told you we were taking the kids to Disney. Let me give you how this worked for me, Crystal, because it just happened early this morning. And I was kind of amazed at how powerful this one is. So I have a friend, Crystal, I've known since fourth grade, a long time. And since I moved to the West Coast, we don't see each other as much because he still lives on the East Coast where we first met many, many years ago. So he asked me how my holidays went, Crystal. He said they noticed that I was in Long Island for Christmas and wanted to know how it went. I said, you know what? It went great. We spent some time with the in-laws. And I'd asked him how his holidays went in return. And I said, by the way, you'd mentioned about a year ago, his name is Scott, that your neck was getting pretty messed up. He's in the HVAC business, Crystal. So his whole life, he's been in attics, kind of bent over doing air conditioner work. So he's got a problem with his neck and spine, he told me about a year ago. So on the text this morning, I said, by the way, Scott, how is your neck feeling? I remember you had said that you may need surgery. Know what he said? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you remember that because it's been so long. Thanks for asking. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm handling it mostly holistically now. And even someone I've known, Crystal, since 4th grade, totally likes me a little bit more today because I remembered something he told me about his health in this case on there. It's very powerful, guys. So use that one. Make sure you're always recalling previous information. Next, Crystal, even over a phone call, a smile will resonate. Always be smiling, even on the phone. Definitely in person for sure. It makes you a lot more appealing to look at, engaging, want to hang out with, want to work with. Big smile always. Crystal, do not tell your clients you help them buy or sell homes. Tell them about a process or a system you have that will help them buy or sell homes. What their brain tells them is that you have a duplicatable method to get them a result. So for me, Crystal, I have my roadmap to success for buyers and my roadmap to success for sellers is what I call it. You guys can create your own or steal that if you like. Next way to build trust or not to build trust is the amount of confidence you appear to possess when you meet your client or speak with them on the phone. Lack of confidence, Crystal, is the #1 reason the consumers want to work with a different agent, I will tell you. #1. So what are some traits, Crystal, that would exude confidence? What would make my client feel I'm confident? Can you give me a couple of characteristics?
Just in your tone and the way you speak.
Yep, I speak very, very directly, very firmly, right? I'm not whispering, I'm not mumbling, enunciating my words clearly. What about my rate of speech? People that are nervous, do they speak more quickly or more slowly?
Nervous would be faster. So
Yeah, so slow down your cadence a little bit. Good. What about eye contact?
always have eye contact.
Right. People who are not confident do not make good eye contact. So actually write that down. That's one of the other techniques on my list. Strong eye contact always. I'd mentioned you had to be, Crystal, a market expert. This is going to sound similar, a little bit different. You also need to be super knowledgeable. So what does that mean differently? So Crystal knows all the houses for sale, under contract that are closed, right? That's market expert. Super knowledgeable is, hey, Crystal, I have a question about mortgages. I got a question about the home inspection. Hey, Crystal, I want to know where's the best place to grab lunch in town, or I need a moving company because I'm moving to your town. Crystal, anything that can affect one of my clients, I can help them with, not just getting into contract and closing on a house. I'm super knowledgeable about everything and anything one of my clients may need, whether it's a recommendation to a doggy kennel, a restaurant, a professional, whatever. The more you can be super knowledgeable, the better off you're going to be able to build trust more quickly. Next, if I go to a client's house, Crystal, I always wear the same exact color. What color is it?
Navy blue.
Navy blue, right? When I go to the client's house though, Crystal, I don't want them to think a salesperson is coming to their home. I want them to feel like a neighbor, relative, or family member is coming to their house. So what do? I act like one of them. So I always hope it's garbage day because I will bring their trash cans from the curb if they're in that kind of neighborhood, and I will bring them up to the house if it's that setting. I always, Crystal, with intention, I try to find a newspaper, UPS, or Amazon Prime package that would deliver because I want to bring it in with me, just like a family member or a neighbor might do. I knock on the door twice, and again, to keep building trust, I step back a couple feet, right? You don't want to be at the door when they open it. That could be intimidating. Crystal, I then will come in and I will shake your hand. I have 2 different types of handshakes, Crystal. Are you surprised? No. How do I shake the hand of a driver in an analytic, Crystal? Different than an amiable or expressive. Any ideas?
2 hands versus 1.
But say again, Nazar?
2 hands versus 1. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm Amy will put my hand on top of their hand.
Thank you. Nazar's nailed it. So Crystal, analytic driver, firm, quick handshake. Hey, nice to meet you. Always make Always making strong eye contact, especially with the driver, I will tell you, have to. Now, my amiable analytic, not quite as firm, but I learned the name of this today. One of my other clients characterizes for me, Nazar. He calls it the sandwich handshake. So I put my hand out. As soon as you grab this hand, Crystal, I bring my other one to the back side of your hand and a little slower, warmer handshake. The reason why, if you guys don't know, analytics and drivers generally dislike physical touch. Amiable's expressive like physical touch. So this will help me communicate with them properly, even with a handshake. Great job, Nazar. Crystal, I've won a lot of listing appointments 2 seconds later because I always wear slip-on shoes to my first appointment. Why? Because as soon as we're done that handshake, before you ask me, I will take my shoes off. I noticed who the sellers were that gave me the listing pretty quickly after that move. People who had children at home that had babies that crawled on the floor. They're like, wow, that was so respectful. Thank you for that. And boom. Let me share something. This came up twice, Nazar. Most agents think that they're going to win or lose the listing presentation with the marketing plan when they get to the table. Guys, your client has already determined whether they're going to hire you or not by that point. They're just using that marketing plan to justify why they should work with you. All these things I'm teaching you are how they make a decision to work with you. It is not the presentation. That is just to justify if they're right or wrong about working with you. So these are the important things I'm teaching you today. Next, Crystal, we have a couple more. Empathy. Your client has to feel you care more about them, their outcome, and their experience than you getting another closing and a commission check. If you don't do a great job of conveying that, you will not develop trust. Will not. Next is responsiveness, Crystal. We live in the now economy. Crystal, we're in a low inventory situation. A new lead came in today because they saw our house on Zillow popped up this morning. How long do you think they're going to wait for you to call them back? Any idea?
Yeah, you're not gonna wait. You're gonna.
Minutes if you're lucky, right? If not seconds nowadays. So you've got to get back to them. Even if you're working with them, Crystal, and you think, oh, they're my lead, they're working with me. If they request some information or a showing and you're too busy, I'm telling you, they're going to call that listing agent in a heartbeat if you don't get back to them quickly. So you got to be responsive. Next on my list is Crystal. There's the box, right? Let me just show you right here, right? I got a little box right here. And inside this box, Crystal, right here, is what your client expects you to do with them. If you're a listing agent, they expect you to take beautiful photos, put their house on the MLS, send it to 400 aggregator sites, negotiate them a great deal. If you're a buyer's agent, they expect you to unlock a door, be knowledgeable about the house, maybe send them write up an offer, home inspection, and appraisal. Guys, let me tell you a little secret about my success. I never focus on those things. That's the minimum standard. Crystal, what I'm always looking for with every buyer and every seller is what can I do outside that box of the norm that most other realtors wouldn't say or do? Because if I am just 5% better than my competitors, Crystal, my clients feel I'm 100% better. So I'll give you some examples, Crystal. If a client was coming to my area, say from out of area, I always pick them up at the airport. I don't let them try to find my office or navigate back on there. I had a client, Crystal, again, outside the box. They came from a different country. And I recognized that she was a doctor that couldn't leave the emergency room where she was going to be working. So I was the emergency care contact for two of their children when they moved into my area. Adding value a different way. Guys, please look outside the box of the norm. This is where you're going to make your headways. Because Crystal, you know what a word called commoditize means? Yes? If a product or a service is commoditized, you know what that means?
No.
No. So if Nazar, myself, and Crystal all go to a seller or buyer and offer the same service, basically, maybe a little variation, but very little, do you know which one of us the client's always going to choose? The cheapest option. That's commoditizing. So you've got to stand out. If you guys want to maintain your fees and get those 6% listings, whatever you guys charge there, you're going to have to add value above and beyond what they can get from other realtors. That's the secret. That's what I focus on. Matter of fact, Nazar, like no joke, my listing appointment. Hey, Nazar, of course, we're going to take amazing photos. And of course, we're going to put your house in the MLS. You shouldn't hire anyone, Nazar, who wouldn't do those things, right? And I go down the laundry list of basics. What I want to share with you here are all the things that we do differently to get your house this higher sales price and close it quickly on there. That's my whole pitch is everything that I know no one else is talking about. It's been like that for years. That's how I close my sellers easily. Any questions on this?
I think it's important to realize that by having a good follow-up CRM system allows you to be able to put in those notes that you talked about, right? So you don't have to remember every single detail of the conversation you have, but if you had that conversation, quickly jump on follow up us, put in that note in there. Next time you go to retrieve that information, next time you go to talk to that person, you remember, oh yeah, the last time I talked to this person was because of this, and this is what happened, and these are circumstances, so you can bring that up, so it makes it a lot more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you just jogged my memory. Actually, I'll give you one more hack, then I'll let you guys go. So if I didn't have something to recall on you, Nazar, like say it was you and I, honestly, like I didn't have something and I knew I was going to interact with you. You know what I do? Even if it's you, like no joke.
Facebook stock.
I go to social. Yeah. I'm going to go to Instagram or Facebook. So I know if I'm talking to Nazar later on today, I'm going to look on, and I'm going to bring it up, even on a coaching call. I do this all the time, even on coaching call, Nazar. Hey, I noticed you did this weekend. I noticed you went there. Why does anyone, guys, post anything on social? So someone will recognize it. And when I recognize it, they're all like, oh, it's working. It's working. I like you. And I build trust with them all the time with this, Nazar, all the time. Very easy hack. Any other questions, thoughts? This stuff really works. It will put a lot of money in your pocket. What I want you guys to do again is, these are basic things. I want you to be more conscious of thinking about them and stack them like I do all the time, and I can get to trust like this. Matter of fact, I'll give you a funny phrase, Nazar, that I get often. Like, I don't know why I'm sharing all this with you, but I just feel so comfortable talking to you, right? It's because I use these techniques all the time, and people overshare with me. Sometimes uncomfortably, I'll tell you, but it works. All good. All right, guys, hit it. We had a great year last year. It's going to be an even better year this year. If you guys need anything, I'm here 24/7 for you guys. Otherwise, implement these. And Crystal, thank you. Nazar, buy Crystal lunch today. I'll reimburse you. That was good of her to let me use her for 30 minutes today, and I'll vend you some money. So Crystal, whatever you want for lunch today, it's on me. Okay. If you had lunch already, I'll buy you dinner. So then let me know how much Nazar, and I'll vend you. I'll Venmo you the money. All right, guys. Have an awesome day. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.